It's a new day, Newnan. Yes, it is. And I'm the bearer of bad news. Bad as in like a baddie. Not bad as in like something bad happened. I have no bad news to report. If you want to hear bad news about Newnan, Coweta County, the area, find that traffic guy. What's his name? I don't think. What is his name? He feels like his name is David. I know that he's not like trying to hide his identity or anything, but it feels to me like his name would be David. He just feels like a David. The kind of post he does and the way he helps the world feels like a David thing to do, you know? I don't know if you know a David. I knew several Davids, and maybe you knew them too, because this was in Sonoya when I was growing up. David Bell. Then there was another David. So if you ever hung out with a David Bell, I knew him, and we used to fight. We used to get in the church grass at First Baptist Church, Sonoya. We used to fight. When I was a kid, I was a violent kid. If you follow along with the podcasting, Newnan Podcast with Harold, you will know that Harold had a violent streak growing up. That's what happens when you have three brothers and you're obsessed with professional wrestling. You like to fight. You like to put up dukes, eh? I'm putting up dukes. Anyways, welcome. This is the Newnan Podcast with Harold. I know, my babies, we have so many episodes. We've been doing this for a year, and I finally failed you. I stopped posting. If you've listened to the episodes, you know what's going on. I've got some kind of a thing going on with my throat. Some kind of a thing is happening, and we don't know what. They found some nodules in it, and there's a nodule on my lung, but they're not like really big. So they're doing like ultrasound, CT scans, things like that to try and see if there's anything that needs to be done. So far, we're not hitting a scary time, but we're at a point where, what's up with this boy? Why he not feeling good? Why that boy not feel good? That's how I talk about myself in the first person. I don't know. I was homeschooled. I don't know which person is which person, but that's me. So they don't know what's going on, but they're trying to figure it out. But just in general, I just feel like I'm parched. I feel like I'm choking on a Popeyes biscuit all the time. Y'all know how Popeyes biscuits be like, or KFC biscuits. Y'all know they got them big butter biscuits, and when you eat them, the little crumbs get all stuck in your throat. Like, it feels like I'm constantly eating a sleepy, like they put melatonin in it. It feels like I'm constantly eating a sleepy melatonin Popeyes or KFC biscuit. And that's just my constant right now is just biscuit throat. That's what they call me in the streets. I'm a pancake throat in the sheets, biscuit throat in the streets, baby. That means something, and I don't know what it means. The Newnan Podcast with Harold is a podcast about Newnan, hosted by me, Harold. Now, I started doing the podcast thing religiously over a year ago, and we've had a couple, I won't say copycats, because everybody's doing podcasts, but now there's other podcasts around in Newnan that are perfectly fine. If you want to hear interviews with people that are interesting, cool. If you want to hear Harold talk until he runs out of stuff to talk about, even coolier. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here. I am David Coulier of podcasting. I'm the David Coulier of podcasting. That's the guy in Full House. I'm the guy in Full House of podcasting. I'm the David Coulier because I'm cooler than the other podcast out there. Which, of course, brings me to my next point, and the most important point of all today is, you guys, which city in Coweta County is which Full House character? Which I think is the most important point of all. Firstly, I think we've already established that Harold, who is not a city, is Joey. I am Joey, who is David Coulier. Dave Coulier? Coulier? I don't even know how he says his name, but I know that I am him. I am that boy. As you can hear, my throat's starting to give out. It did not take long for that to happen. I had to take a short break a minute ago, and now I'm feeling crappy. I would say Danny Tanner. He's the one who keeps everything together in Full House. That's got to be Newnan. Newnan has got to be Danny Tanner. Kimmy Gibbler would probably not be anywhere in Coweta County. That'd probably just be Peachtree City because it's like the annoying neighbor that won't go away and it keeps coming around, and it keeps like being like, yeah, no, I'm part of this. Because what I've learned about Peachtree City more than anything that I think a lot of people gloss over is it's a lot of them coming over here. It's not really, we don't really go over there as much and be like, yo, I want to be part of Peachtree City. Peachtree City is just so crowded and lame that it spends all its time over here. That's what Peachtree City residents do. They try to bring their filth, over to Coweta County. That's rude to say. You guys aren't filthy. You're just gross. Anyways, so Kimmy Gibbler is absolutely Peachtree City. Moreland is like everyone knows Moreland exists, but we don't care about it. So, which character in Full House is Moreland? Do they have was there like a dog? Who was the dog in Full House? The fact that I have to look it up means it might be the perfect answer. Comet. The Full House cast's most prominent dog was Comet, a golden retriever. Comet was played by the dog Buddy, who also starred in the Air Bud movie series. Oh crap, no, Moreland's not good enough for that then, are they? You know, we'll give it to him because we already started. Like, we know it's there. It's comforting that it's there. It's just low-key. It doesn't do nothing. It's a Comet. So Moreland is Comet from Full House. Sonoya, God, Sonoya could be so many things. Probably Jessie, because Sonoya is kind of cool, you know. Sonoya is like there, and it's chill, and it's just hanging out. It's got like cool stuff. It's very movie Hollywoody, and I think John Stamos is probably like the dude now. You know, the Olsen twins used to be a big deal, but they're kind of, you know, they're gone now. We don't know what they're up to. So yeah, we'll say Sonoya is Jessie. Which brings us to East Newnan. East Newnan would be the body double for Newnan, who Danny Tanner would have. So, because is East Newnan really a city? That's so stupid. I haven't made fun of them nearly enough. If you look at it, it's not really a city. It's a community and census designated place, and yeah, East Newnan doesn't even count. Get out of here, East Newnan. when I look up the cities in Newnan, and Coweta County, sorry, they recommend East Newnan, and when I saw it, I was like, "What? Get that out of here!" East Newnan, what is there besides a church and a gun? So East Newnan does not count. Sorry, you're out of here. Sharpsburg is an interesting one because while Sharpsburg isn't important to the plot of Coweta County, it really makes an effort to connect us all together. Like, it's there, for Sonoy, it's there for Peachtree City. I mean, it's a big part of Newnan, like, going through it. So it's like something that we're going to go through and something that is going to matter, but it's not going to be a pivotal plot point. So I would say Michelle Tanner, which is the little girl that's just there for, like, comedic relief. Like, you can't really think of what are like the big storylines involving Michelle Tanner, and that doesn't really exist. So I think that's perfect for Sharpsburg because it's there and it connects us, just like the youngest girl in Full House connects us. But it doesn't matter. You could take it out and it'd be like, whatever, Sharpsburg is gone. We have two more. If I'm keeping my... Did I already do Grantville? I don't think I did Grantville. Grantville. What character is Grantville? God, have I been to Grant? Surely. No, I've driven through Grantville. So Grantville, let's see. Grantville is probably... who was Steve? Y'all remember Steve from Full House? Didn't he date DJ? Steve, Full House. I think I know who's Steve. Steve Hale. All right, here we go. Steve Hale's a character played by Scott Winger. He begins appearing in a recurring role in season 5. Who the heck is Steve? Steve is DJ's high school boyfriend until the end of season 7. So the fact that I couldn't really remember him and he's just there to make another character look good, yeah, let's just say that's Grantville. It's just there to make Coweta County look bigger, I guess, or whatever. Which brings us to the worst, the absolute worst, and that would be Turin, Georgia. And trying to decide who was the worst character in all of Full House that is also a perfect representation of Turin is kind of tricky. And if you are a Full House aficionado like I was growing up, that would be Stephanie Tanner. That Stephanie Tanner is... It's hard to explain Stephanie Tanner. I'm looking up some famous Stephanie... Yeah, oh, there they all are. Oh, my goodness. Oh, here they go. She was the one responsible for How Rude, Oh My Lanta, and You're in Big Trouble, Mister. Like, she is the quotes, the annoying quotes, this is what you would expect from a sitcom character, so this is gonna be what you're gonna get. And there's just no depth. There was no depth really to Stephanie. Stephanie was just... When I think of Stephanie, I think of, lame, boring, annoying. Annoying is probably the best word for Stephanie. And when you think of Turin, you probably think those same things, don't you? You probably think annoying. So sorry, Stephanie. I love you because I love all the characters in Full House. But you are Turin. You are the Turin of Coweta County. And I do want to point out something very, very important, as all things with Harold. When I started recording, I didn't plan on comparing cities in Coweta County to Full House characters. It just sort of opened, a Full House door, a door to the Full House opened when I said Dave Coulier earlier, that I'm coolier than the other podcast. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking this was so stupid and this was so dumb and I wish this wouldn't have happened and been part of my listening experience, I agree. I wish I wouldn't have even thought which cities in Coweta County are the most like Full House characters. But that's what happened. And if there's one rule that Harold always has, it's that unless I make a technical error, I do not edit the podcast. The podcast, because I don't do it live, I try to keep as close to the live experience as possible, which means unless of course there is a technical difficulty, we keep our podcast with all its flaws. And right now, my babies, it got a lot of flaws. We are a flawed experience. Anyways, here's what's been going on if you're just now joining us to find out what has been happening in Newnan Time with Harold. In the month of June, we hit over 1 million views across our post. Some of the posts got over 200,000 just in itself. We're making money. We're making hundreds of dollars a month thanks to you guys visiting and sharing and commenting, and we love it. We love to see that between the podcast and the website and the social media. And just know that money that we make is going back into the community. And you may be asking yourself, how's it going back into the community? It's going on dates to review places. It's going back into the website. The website is expensive to run. It goes into promotional stuff. If you haven't noticed, Harold is everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean like 3 people have a shirt. And sometimes our Facebook posts get sponsored. By everywhere, I mean like 2 places. That would be Facebook, and that would be on shirts that some people wear. So we're very excited of the growth that has been coming out. And I don't know why. I'm not doing anything differently. I write for Newnan Time with Harold. I do the podcast. I've been doing this since 2020. That's 5 years of this. So we're going to start getting over 1 million views a month. Cool. If we're going to start making hundreds of dollars, cool. This is not like, I don't want to say it's not important, because it's obviously important, because we exist to make you laugh and think about Full House. And if there's anything more important than Full House, it's Fuller House, which follows DJ Tanner, who did not get ranked because DJ is like above us. Like DJ would be, what's the greatest city I've ever been to? The greatest city that I've ever been to, the first thing I think is Nashville. Nashville's dope. So Orlando's pretty cool too. I was gonna say Sweetwater Beach, but that's not the place. Clearwater, Florida. It's like really trashy. It's like really trashy, but it has a lot of cool things. So DJ Tanner is the Clearwater Beach of the world. Everybody else falls below that. DJ Tanner. Oh, and Rebecca from Full House. That babe was a babe. So whatever the hottest city is in the world, probably like Milan or something. I don't know. I've never been to Milan. What's the hottest city I've been to that when I was there I was like, this is a sexy place? Probably San Francisco because it's so gay and sexy and promiscuous. Anyways, none of that matters. I'm just thinking of DJ Tanner and Rebecca from Full House. My point is, I love the growth. Thank you for the growth. Thank you for sharing and just being silly, man. That's all we're trying to do is be silly and make fun of things and make fun of ourselves. Because the number one critic to ourselves is ourselves, which, of course, everybody knew that. So we're having fun. We're having a good time. So thank you to the community for just being goofy with me. If you got goofy stuff, just be goofy. Have fun. Laugh a little bit. You shouldn't forget the importance of entertainment. That is from the film Funny Games. That has become a motto to my life. Is just try to have a good time. Yes, there's a time and a place for seriousness, but if you are not finding ways to be entertained, then you're doing it wrong. So turn on that TV and watch that show that you don't need to watch, and play that video game. And listen to this amazing article that I'm about to read from the Newnan Times Herald, because one of the greatest things was posted July 3rd, 2025 by Jeffrey Cullen Dean. This was front page news on the Newnan Times Herald. Front page news, which, let's be fair, front page news in Newnan is not like that's not, it's not saying a lot, right? Here are some of the things on the front page news. 3 injured in Sonoya Raceway incident. Important because it's like a big thing that happened, and we're talking about people's lives on the line, so great. Supporters, critics clash over data centers promise. It's been a huge deal what's happening with the data centers. And this one, backyard chickens, roosters, get green light from Coweta commissioners. And you might be thinking to yourself, if I'm the type of person to have backyard chickens, I'm definitely not the type of person to have internet access or even know what a podcast is. So if you're listening to this podcast, I promise I'll bet for $15. I just had to think of a number, and it's $9.15 right now. So I was either going to go with 9 or 15 or 915. We went with 15. I'm going to bet $15 that you don't care about this news story. But what is my responsibility? Well, my responsibility is to keep the public engaged. And I want the public to be engaged with this insanely important thing that is happening in Newnan. So I'm going to read this article. This comes directly from the Newnan Times Herald. So I didn't write any of this. Maybe, I don't even know if they wrote it. Maybe they used AI. I don't know. I'm assuming they wrote it. I'm assuming there's a rule that Jeffrey Cullen Dean has to write truly. He probably has to write on like pen and paper, and then he hands it to Clay, and then Clay retypes it up. That's probably, I'm going to say that's the process, is they probably all have to go to the library and do like old school, like get the books and write it on pen and paper with like a quill. And then they take the quill to Clay, and Clay goes, "Yes, this is very excellent." And then he publishes it. So that's what we're going to say happens. So here we go. A new ordinance allowing backyard chickens and roosters on smaller residential lots was approved for county residents. The Coweta County Board of Commissioners approved the ordinance at its Tuesday night meeting with a few adjustments. Originally, the ordinance prohibited roosters and crowing fowl. During the ordinance's public hearing, a few Coweta residents requested the commissioners modify the ordinance to allow roosters on the lots. Coweta resident Nicole Bushu said the ordinance limits residents' ability to raise livestock. "You're only mentioning chickens," she said. "What about ducks, geese, turkeys? What if they want doves or quail or anything like that? Those are small poultry." Bushu also said the limit of 10 birds was a little absurd and felt it should be adjusted to allow more birds per half acre. Roosters didn't need to be prohibited either, she said. 16-year-old Coweta resident Worth Smith also requested the board reconsider the prohibition on roosters. Roosters help protect the flock, he said, and are necessary for reproduction. Smith added that many people would prefer to produce their own chickens rather than buying. Noise ordinances would do little in solving the issue, he said. Waters Edge Lane resident Jennifer Webster also wanted roosters permitted via the ordinance. A rooster's job is to protect the flock, she said. It will lay its life on the line to protect the flock. Webster also said 10 chickens per acre was too little. Too little. They didn't make a typo. I just said litter instead of little. Here we go. This is when it gets good. Y'all ready for this? Commissioner Jeff Fisher motioned to allow one rooster or crowing fowl on the premises, strike some language from the ordinance that caused building setback conflicts, and include language to make medication for the birds more secure and inaccessible to children. The ordinance was unanimously approved by the commissioners. Sorry, that Popeyes biscuit's getting my throat a little bit. Now that it's like 9:22 p.m., that Popeyes biscuit's hitting my throat in a way that's making me think of cancer biscuits. Anyways, here we go. This is good. This is where the chicken meets the road. That's pretty funny. I'm gonna hold on. We got to take a sidebar here. You know the quote. You know the rubber meets the road. I just took that and made a chicken, why did the chicken cross the road connection. This is where the chicken meets the road. That's very funny. So if you ever ask why did the chicken cross the road, it's for barnyard chickens, roosters to get green lights from Coweta commissioners. According to the amendment, backyard chickens on property that cannot meet the county's setbacks for non-commercial agricultural poultry keeping may still be allowed if chickens, chicken products, and byproducts shall not be sold on the property. The minimum lot size for keeping backyard chickens will be 1/2 acre. No more than 10 chickens are permitted on a lot. Chicken coops, runs, chicken houses, and roosting structures are not required to have a building permit. Structures must be in the rear end and covered enclosures must be provided for roosting and protection. The area must be kept in a neat and sanitary condition and cleaned on a regular basis to prevent offensive odors, attraction of flies or vermin, and the creation of an environment otherwise injurious to public health and safety. And feed, supplements, and medications must be kept in fully enclosed, rodent-proof containers. Whew. This is juicy stuff. If you're thinking like what's going on a Tuesday night in Coweta County, this is it. And you may have already turned off the podcast, in which case you're not hearing me say, ooh, you are in for a wild ride because it's about to get insane. Here we go. If you can't tell, I didn't proofread it. I had no idea what was going to be in this article. I just saw the title and went, that is it. That is my podcast return right there. All right, here we go. I got that Popeye biscuit. According to County Administrator Michael Fouts, the ordinance came about as a request from county residents seeking to raise chickens in their backyards. However, current county setbacks don't allow the birds on smaller lots. We're not proposing to put forth any regulations on any other chicken raising or poultry in the county other than these small lots, he said. Minimum setback standards still apply to the chicken coops. Structures can be no closer than 30 feet from the property line or 50 feet from adjacent houses. The commissioners also approved a deed of open space restriction for the Lakefield subdivision, appointed Karen. Okay, now this is the other stuff they did in the meeting. This is all long and useful. Doesn't matter. What matters is insane stuff is happening with backyard chickens and roosters. And if you need to know more, go to the Newnan Time. Actually, you know everything. That's everything that was in it. You now know everything there is to know about backyard chickens, roosters, who got green light from Coweta commissioners. As always, we'll be back with another thrilling episode based on all the news in Coweta County. Coweta County's been crazy, man. There's been some crazy stuff happening lately. But nothing tops backyard chickens, roosters, they get green light from Coweta commissioners by Jeffrey Cullen D in the Newnan Times Herald. You know where to find me. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Newnan Times Herald. That is Herald. Harold. I'm the mustache. I was going to say assassin, but I'm afraid that I'll get, like, demonetized for saying that. I'm the mustachioned. Oh, that's really good. The mustachioned. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.